This is my 2003 Toyota Corolla. You know, your average Toyota Corolla build with a 3 to 4 inch lift kit, custom rally bumper built by my friend Ethan at Grindhard Plumbing Company, and a goofy big exhaust that has no right being on a Corolla.
Brought to you in part by Alpine Toyota.
Let me tell you, that car is an awesome daily driver. And today, we're gonna work on it. So here's the deal. I have not made a video on my Corolla in over a year, so chances are a lot of you guys have never seen it before. I actually initially built this car for the OG Gambler 500 in Oregon. As I mentioned earlier, we did put a lift in this car. You can't buy a lift for these cars. It is custom made out of spacers that go on top of these struts. And the front bumper is custom fabricated by my buddy Ethan at Grindhard Plumbing Company, as you can tell by this beautiful tube bumper. And it's just such a fun car to drive around. In fact, my favorite part about this car is the fact that it is a 5-speed manual. And really, the only issue I've ever had with this car since I've owned it is the transmission. It ended up going last year, and I replaced it, which is actually why the hood is black. The parts car I got to replace the transmission was black, and I wanted to see what it looks like, and yeah. And speaking of looks, that is exactly what we're working on today. That right there is the grille from the exact same parts car that the transmission and black trunk and hood came from. And the plan today is, I just want to black it out. I want to paint it, and I also want to take the badge off, and I want to paint it red to match the pods that I also painted red that are on the car. And that should be pretty straightforward. Take the emblem out, use some sandpaper, scuff it up, paint it up, and then paint the emblem, slap that back in, and then after, I'm actually going to toss these LED bulbs I had sent to me in the Corolla and give it a bit of a lighting upgrade. And as I figured, that was pretty easy. It took all of maybe 5 minutes to sand those down and paint them. So, while I'm waiting for those to dry, it's time to remove the old grille from this Corolla. With the grille removed and the paint still very wet, let's move on to these lights. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, these are a LED conversion. Looks like they got some sort of resistor or control board with them. But in theory, these should be entirely plug and play in this Corolla. The quality of these seems to be super solid. And look, they got the cutest little fan on them. Let's see how they fit. Well, that LED headlight is definitely brighter, so that should be an upgrade. And now it's time for perhaps the biggest upgrade of the day. I need stickers. So something else I'd really like to do to this Corolla is to get rid of these pieces of trim on the side. They really don't add anything visually, and I think it'll just look a lot cleaner without them. Problem is, I know that they're held on with like a 3M double-sided tape, and that is going to be tricky to get off. I'm going to need some really good like goo-gone solution to get all that off, and then I'll likely have to take like a buffing wheel and like go over all the paint on this side of the car, and I just don't know if it's worth it yet, because I do plan on painting this thing. Let me know what color you guys think I should paint it in the comments down below. I'm leaning towards like some sort of bright orange. I think it'll look good. I want to leave the black accents. As I said, I do want to paint the roof. And yeah, something else I'd really like to do to this thing is get some bigger tires, maybe some more offset rim, and get some red mud flaps. I think those would go real well with all the red highlights I'm adding onto this car. Anyways, guys, that about wraps up this week's episode of Dirt Garage. I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, please smash that like button. And hey, if you're new, subscribe. I upload weekly Toyota building, wheeling, and off-roading content. It's not all about the Corolla. But hey, if you guys want to see more about the Corolla, let me know in the comments below, and we'll try to get more work done on it. I do love this car. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
I'ma make a couple stacks, do exactly what I want to. Mix a couple tracks, get a lady that I'm drawn to. Turn up to the max, get it faded till I'm gone, dude. I do what I want, couldn't stop me if you wanted to. I just work hard, yeah, harder than the rest. Some people say I'm lucky, others say